AI is the biggest trend. So in our case, it's going to transform the user experience itself in the platform because it's going to be more conversational
Yeah.
and probably more 100% personalized, even in the UX, even in the UI.
Hmm.
Everything will be generated for the user at some point. So I think in that case, it's going to be really transformed.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the HR Leaders Podcast. On today's episode, I'm joined by Loic Michele, who is a HR tech and future work entrepreneur and CEO and co-founder at 365 Talents. During the episode, Loic shares how to build a skills-based organization, the benefits, the challenges, how to demonstrate the ROI, and the impact that it has on your talent and hiring strategy. He also shares the practical ways that 365 Talents are leveraging generative AI to build a skills-first organization. As always, before we jump into the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. With that being said, let's jump in. Loic, welcome to
Yeah,
the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I think last time we saw each other, we had an amazing steak in London. That was a while ago,
We
though.
had, yeah, it was a year ago. A
Yeah,
year ago.
yeah. How's life treating you?
Good. I keep having such good steaks, but actually not that much. I am trying to reduce
Yeah.
my meat consumption. So next time we'll need to find somewhere else to eat.
No worries.
Yeah.
Before we jump in, tell everyone a little bit more about you personally and your journey with 365 Talents.
So I'm an entrepreneur with an engineering background. I like to say I am a curious engineer. I used to be a curious management consultant as well, and that turned me into an entrepreneur, because I am curious and I like to take new ideas and transform that into new projects and new companies now. So at some point, after a few years in consulting, I wanted to answer these massive questions about how to leverage skills information in large organization, because I knew that it was not a successful attempt so far. So that was a few years ago, and I decided to launch. And I remember I woke up one day and I said, okay, I want to create the Google of skills for any enterprise. Like being able to mine this data, leverage this data, make it accessible for everyone, the employees, the managers, the HRs, the leaders. I partner with my two co-founders, Paul and Mathieu, and we created 365 Talents. We invested for 2 years, 2015 to 2017, on product, AI, and we tested the go-to-market as well, because you never know exactly who would be the best environment for your product and your vision and your company. And then we decided to go and focus 100% on enterprise customers. So really big organizations with big challenges around skills and competencies. And we knew we would be able at that time to help them on their transformation, and not only HR, but business transformation as well. So that's what we started to do with different companies in different industry. We started in France with companies like SocGen, Société Générale,
Hmm.
or Crédit Agricole in the bank industry. And then we started work with new companies like EY, like Bearing Point in the consulting industry as well. And then we help large energy companies work on their big transformation, business transformation, and to leverage their workforce to do so. And we are on this way of helping our customers transform their business through their skills and workforce management.
And here we are.
And here we are.
And here we are. So we was talking about this before we hit record, and interested to hear your thoughts. What does it mean to be a skills-based organization?
And when we prepared, I remember I told you it means so many things. It's going to be hard to
Yeah.
summarize. For most of the HR leaders, it means going from a role organization or role HR policy to a skills HR policy or skills-based organization. It means that you need to understand that any talent, any individual in your organization, is not only connected to one role and one particular position at a time. It's a combination of many, many aspects and many, many assets. And that's even the root of our name at 365 Talents. It's every day. Every day you gain new potential,
Hmm.
new skills, new competencies, and everyone is a talent by nature. So the combination of these two means that you need to be able to, as an HR leader, to understand that the skills might be coming from everywhere, from everyone, in every situation, in real time,
Yeah.
every day. And once you say that, pretty much you need to reinvent all your talent management and your talent experience, because it's not having people interviews every or performance interviews every year or twice a year that will make the difference, because you will be missing part of the story. It's transforming the whole idea in having more contact points, more insights on the business, on the people impact, and that's beneficial for you as a company, but that's beneficial for the employees as well. So you have to help them understand that they have this potential of being successful in their role now and tomorrow based on the skills they have. And you have to help them identify these skills as well. So it's definitely transforming talent management and talent experience by putting skills at the center. And we know on the market, everyone is talking about that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to start from the root, which are the skills themselves. And so that's why skills technology, skills intelligence is at the core of everything when you want to do this transformation. You cannot say, okay, I want to be a skills first organization. My main focus is internal mobility, and I want to just have an internal mobility platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's one angle, but it's more global. So you have to starts from the beginning at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did a great job. Firstly, as you said, it can mean many things, but you did a fantastic job of capturing that. You mentioned a few of the benefits, but what are the main benefits for the organization, and then what are the main benefits for the employees?
Yeah, at 365 Talents, we created a toolbox with ROI elements. These main elements are structured around 5 pillars. The first is engagement and the impact of a positive retention on employees. That's really beneficial for the
Why
companies.
does it increase
Uh,
intention?
because you have this new way of capturing this information and understanding the people assets, so that they have multi layers and multi facets, and so they are not only one person in one role. They are more than that. In the continuity of that, you provide some opportunities in a more dynamic way, so you can go into the talent marketplace approach, and it's really beneficial for the employee to have such access to information and opportunities.
Yeah,
And
I
if you
think
don't do that,
they leave.
yeah,
Or I think I'm a perfect example. I was in the same company for 10 years, and I was asking the business saying, "Hey, I want a new opportunity. I've been in sales now for 10 years. I want to work in operations or marketing or finance?" And they told me, "No, you're in sales. That's what you do. There's no other
yeah,
opportunities." And I left
yeah.
the
So
business.
opening the eyes, opening the opportunities. Employees need more visibility on what they need, on what they know, and what they can do, and as a person. And so they need to be able to see what they can have access to in the
Yeah,
company. So visibility on the opportunities, but at the same time, the company needs to have more visibility on this person, because this person has more to offer than the company knows at some point.
yeah,
So this
love that.
visibility aspect is key in retention. And then internal mobility is really beneficial. And you know that when you hire someone internally, it costs less than externally. And there are many, many, many figures to demonstrate that, and studies. But that's true actually. Then you can push that to the real like talent marketplace approach with lots of agility and gigs and project staffing. And when you staff internally, you don't staff externally with consultants, external resources that usually cost more than the internal resource that is under staffed for any reason. So you optimize your efficiency, your productivity at that point. So that's the third. The fourth one is on HR efficiency. And I think we're going to talk about generative AI and
Mm-hmm.
at some point in the conversation, but HR productivity and how to prepare people reviews, how to prepare strategic workforce planning tasks and assignments in the company, how to prepare and to work on internal recruitment or any recruitment. If you have access to these skills first data, if you have a better understanding of the potential profiles for any of your opportunities, then you'll be way more prepared in way shorter period of time. So in the end, you'll be more efficient. And the fifth one is the connection with learning and development. We say that when you have a more precise knowledge of the skills and the competencies of everyone, and the skills and competency that your learning catalog and learning content can contribute to develop, then you can have a way better matching in between the needs and the needs and the supply of learning opportunities and upskilling opportunities.
Mm.
So you can even optimize your learning budget, the consumption of your content of learning. So you make some significant savings as well in your tools and content learning budget.
Love that.
So that's global. And for the employees, it's employability, it's visibility in the company and in what I can achieve in the company. So that's definitely really beneficial as well. Yeah.
Amazing. And we'll find that link and leave it in the chat, in the
Yeah.
description
Okay.
for everyone
Yeah. Yeah.
as well. That was a lot to take in, and I'm sure people listening are thinking, "Well, where do I even start?" What advice do you give to people about where do they start on this journey?
Well, what we usually do with our partners is starting with a real focus on skills intelligence. And we like to say, okay, come here, bring you the data you have or the source of information you think you have or you think you don't have, because usually it's 50-50. Some of the partners say, okay, this is our existing frameworks and this is how it works in our company. Tell us how to put that into a dynamic mode, in real-time mode, a decentralized approach, because at 365 Talents, you have the technology to do that. So we can do this. But the other 50 came and say, we don't have nothing. We don't have any skills framework. We don't have skills data. We are too focused on roles, and we've always been this way. Please help us build from scratch something that will help us in the end have a skills intelligence engine at the center of what we want to change. So whether they have something or nothing, we ask them to come with what they have or don't have. And that's where you combine the existing and what the technology can bring. So coming with our own skills intelligence and frameworks, with external data, with benchmark data that we have, and the technology that is able to infer skills, to gather skills together, to cluster and structure this information in different languages. So now we cover 46 different languages. So
Wow.
you can create something really strong. One element is saying you cannot rely on an external ontology that should be global and apply to you with no adapting phase. And that's why we start with this. Come and work on this. And it's not a massive project for that. Just to give an example, when I talk to a partner, I say, come and we'll spend 1 hour talking about that, and I'll demonstrate how it works in our
Oh,
platform and
wow.
in our
Okay.
technology. And in 1 hour, if the partner has work on, okay, what are the data I have? What do I want to see at the end? In 1 hour of conversation, we already know where to start and
Focus.
what are the first steps in this skills approach. And then you can work on, and that's key, the ROI. And we were talking about the benefits, but the ROI on, okay, why would I do this? And what would be the benefits in the end? So we go through these 5 pillars and we check with the customer and with the partner and we validate the figures. And in the end, they have the ROI that they can attain with such transformation. And finally, we talk about project and implementation and the resources they need to allocate and the resources we allocate when we do that.
Uh,
And then you are good to go.
and then they can take that back to the business to demonstrate a case. Here's the
Exactly.
ROI. Here's the plan. Because I'm sure that's
Exactly.
half of the battle, right? Yeah.
That's more than half of the battle. And HR leaders that we work with, yeah, they always need these ROI proofs, and they are
Yeah.
not always good at managing these figures
Yeah.
and financial elements. So we are here. We're here to help. And
Amazing.
skills first transformation is definitely transforming the company and really beneficial. So it's concrete. It's really
Yeah.
concrete.
Amazing. You mentioned earlier, I want to pivot quickly. You mentioned generative AI. How do you see generative AI transforming organizations and the HR function?
We are a tech company at 365 Talents with a AI data DNA from the beginning. Paul is So my co-founder, our CTO, used to work in labs, and so he is really strong and committed on research and the proof of what this new technology can bring in a non-technology subject, which is HR. So we've been the first in the space to work on generative AI without knowing it at the beginning, probably, but once it went public, we said, okay, naturally we can embrace this transformation and we'll need to leverage that. And why naturally? Because we believe you need to have this decentralized approach on skills intelligence and on talent experience to leverage generative AI. If you have something too structured, too process oriented, too organized, too framework, organized, then generative AI will come with ideas and with concepts and even skills. If you are talking about skills benchmarks, and you won't be able to integrate that into your system because it's going to be too transformative, too new. While with a decentralized and dynamic approach that we have, at the same time, you can say, okay, in our systems, we consider that every people can bring some new skills, new data in the system. Every system, HR, business can be leveraged to extract skills as well and information. Generative AI is like a new brain contributing to this data collection. It's like if you had a new employee named Chris, and Chris is a really big brain and can generate ideas, either how to describe a job description, how to describe a learning opportunity, how to attach the trending skills to a new role. And Chris is capable of doing that because he knows. He might not be 100% sure and exact,
Yeah.
but he will suggest, he will give ideas. So then you just leverage what Chris can say and you integrate into your model like any other insights that you're going to have. So I think
Yeah.
this is the big part of this transformation. But considering that you can have this new brain in your team, is really cool if you can integrate this new brain into your systems. So that's what we do. And three examples of what it does concretely. The technology now, and we integrate that into our platform, is helping writing job and projects and mission description. It's easy, but it's still assisting the HR or the managers in their daily job.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one. Then it can do as well some benchmark and extract skills information on what's going on the market. But to do that, you need not only to ask, it's not ChatGPT here, it's prompting with context and explaining what you want to get in output. And then so the system is able to say, okay, for this role, the top skills are this one and the one that are trending, because I can search on the web right now and I see that there are some trending skills and decreasing skills. So these are increasing, these are decreasing. So this is really cool for HR leaders, but for employees as well, for their employability, so they have
Yeah.
access to these insights. So this is one new area. The third one is what we call smart insights or analytic insights. And then actually the systems are able to understand any page, any report, any dashboard, and to translate that into Word. So you can push some summaries of analytics pages to the HR, to the managers, so that they have a wrap-up of a situation on their skills context, on their team's strengths and weaknesses. So that's text generation here. And finally, we integrate that as well in the strategic workforce planning features of our platform. As a leader, you can build some scenarios and say, okay, the scenario is that I am an energy company. I need to have a 50% of my business with renewable. How does that impact? Does it impact my roles? Then it translates the impact of this 50% target into your roles, saying, okay, this electrician engineer need to do this and this more than it used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have all the skills that you need to get for, and the one you have to let on the side for this transformation. So it's really useful for strategic planning as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's integrated into our system now. So it's really cool, really exciting period. It's definitely transformative.
How do you ensuring it that the source of truth is correct, because obviously it's going out into the market,
Yeah.
bringing back information. There may be inherent
Yeah.
bias. It may, not everything on the internet is right. So how do you manage that element of it?
In our skills management system, if I just talk about skills, we pre-integrate all the insights coming from employees, from HR, from managers, from systems, from a new tool that is used, from a new document, but coming from the external world as well. So we combine everything and we tag them automatically with the sources. So you can say, okay, in my automotive company, I see some signals coming from the ground and from the field, new skills in this region, new skills in this team, and I see some signals coming from the external world. So benchmark of competitors
Mm-hmm.
or Gen AI suggestions, and you have a dashboard where you see all that live, and then you have tags and you can say, okay, I see the sources and I see why this information is suggested to me or where it's coming
I
from.
see.
And then we work and we have some treatment to work with our partners, our customers to say, okay, what to do with these insights? Do you want them to be directly available in your systems or should they stay on the side for a period of time, like quarantine? So you can work on that and
Nice.
manage the insights. So on skills, you can, if you identify the source and don't say that any source is the good one, but a mix of these sources will be the good ones, then you can filter everything. And then on the other side, text generation, role description generation, and so on. We like to say it's an assisting tool. So it's helping you, and if you think that the suggestion is good, you can go with it. But usually you modify
Of
this by
course.
30, 50, 60% so that it's relevant and so that you have your human touch on top of the suggestions. So the human touch is key and you cannot remove that and you should not. So it's essential to be able to have the systems to have this like
Yeah.
step-by-step validation. Yeah.
As you said, it's your assistant, it's your co-pilot, right? So like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
recently wrote a job spec using ChatGPT. It did,
Yeah.
let's say, I think it may probably did 60-70% of the work for me.
Yeah.
Then I had to go in and add, our unique touches of our brand, the role, more specifics around the role, making sure it's inclusive, language, etc. But it saved me hours
Yeah.
of work.
I remember, I don't know who was this writer, but he was saying that I think it's 100% more complicated to write than to rewrite. So it's way harder to have the
Yeah, that's
first
the hardest
draw
part. Yeah.
than that's the hardest part. So if someone or some technology is helping you having this first part, then you can focus all your energy and knowledge and competencies on the second part, and the final outcome will be the sum of these two parts. So
Yeah.
it will be fine.
What are the potential risks that you see? Because there are many organizations that are very anti-AI. They're terrified. No
Yeah,
one in our company can use AI. you know, what are some
yeah.
what are some of the
Oh,
risks?
we heard that in some really regulated industries, but it was mostly okay. You cannot use Chat GPT like government did. Italy did that for a few months because like the tip of the iceberg was ChatGPT. So it's not about all the generative AI capabilities, but ChatGPT is the public available version of that. And basically you talk with a chatbot, which is hosted in the US somewhere and dealing with your data the way it wants. So that's a little bit scary. You don't know who will be asking questions, what questions will be asked, what information will be prompted into these systems, and they will be dealt with overseas in another state policy. This is different from what you can do now if you integrate naturally such capabilities into new frameworks and new systems. That's what we do at 365 Talents. We have a really high level of collaboration with Microsoft. So yes, it's this American player, but we have our own infrastructure and we leverage their technical capability in our own infrastructure. It means that the data, the customers' data are all dealt into our secured,
It's all
like,
protected.
yeah, oh, it's really protected. So it doesn't go somewhere, anywhere, and with no policies around. It's dealt by our existing policy on our existing infrastructure. So, so that's for the technical aspect of things. And then for sure, you can be not afraid, but that's such a big transformation. Even our AI team in the company is saying this generative AI transformation is really big. It's the biggest one we have ever seen. It means that you have to take that seriously and
Yeah.
cautiously. Um, but still, as we said, it makes us progress if we can manage it at the global level. So it's a global thing.
Well, you mentioned some of the great ways you're leveraging it right now, but where do you see AI is impacting the future?
Well, I personally think it changes the experience we can have with systems. So in our case, it's going to transform the user experience itself in the platform because it's going to be more conversational
Yeah.
and probably more 100% personalized, even in the UX, even in the UI.
Hmm.
Everything will be generated for the user at some point. So I think in that case, it's going to be really transformed. And I'm not talking about the other jobs and roles and even industries that are really challenged by this generative AI, but my sister is working in the movie industry, and I know there are so many stuff that
Yeah.
can be done with generative AI today. So everything is every industry is a little bit challenged differently. But in our case, software for employees in the workplace, I think the employee experience, the user experience will be even more transformed in the future. Yeah.
Do you think that becoming a skills first organization will help companies adopt AI quicker?
Yeah, it will because it helps you adopt any new significant trend quicker because you are connected to the ground and to the market and to what's going on right now. It's not I have a framework and every 5 years I'm going to transform the framework. Adoption is accelerated for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and AI is the biggest trend now. So, and I think every company is prepared because they have been chasing data analyst and engineer and for the 5 past years. And now it's even more important to have these guys and to understand how it works. It's not easy. It's one key thing I like to share. It's generative AI is visible through ChatGPT. That seems really easy to manage and to handle. It's not easy at all to create models and to leverage this into a system, into a software, into a it requires lots of skills and competencies, and you cannot improvise on that. Otherwise, it will do nuts. So I think it's something important, even in HR leaders' mind. They need to understand that it's not because it's accessible through ChatGPT that you can build from scratch anything if you don't have the background, the expertise, the team, the like the years of experience in that field. So
Yeah.
all the investment made in data in and AI in general over the 5, 7 years is really relevant because it's the only way to be able to handle this generative AI new stuff
Responsibly.
responsibly.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
You mentioned there briefly integration, and you said to me before, like integration should be sort of what the number one key work for HR leaders. What did you mean by that?
You know, we do provide a new solution in a complex ecosystem of our customers. They usually have dozens of different systems in their HR tech stack. But our mission is not to provide a new platform. It's to contribute to a new experience, a new talent experience. So when we think internally at 365 Talents about this mission, we said, okay, uh, what is the best way to provide a new experience without adding and piling new platforms? And the answer is integration, because you need to be perfectly integrated into what is existing into the customer's environment. If nothing is that much existing, then you just have a core HR and you have an LMS and you have an ATS, then it's all about data flows. It's an easy integration and it works well. And you provide the talent experience, the front end of the talent experience, the talent marketplace, and these capabilities on top. So this is cool. But if the company and the customers already have already has a really complex ecosystem with a homemade piece of softwares because they are really tech oriented and they want to build their own because they have some really complex business rules, then some of them just need to have access to the skills intelligence and smart suggestions that you can provide on top of that directly into their system. So you need to be able to provide that, not piling up a new front and a new platform in the employees on the employee's desktop,
Yeah.
but integrating into what is existing already. And in the middle, you need to provide visual integrations. So if the company is using Microsoft Teams 80% of the time and every employee is using Microsoft Teams, you need to be able to integrate your experience and your skills management and your talent marketplace and your talent experience directly into Teams.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not Teams, but something else, it needs to be done. I think that's the full scope that you need to be able to answer. And that's something we are really proud at 365 Talents. That's what we've built over the last 12 months. 50 data flows, integrations, API first approach for full integration into a customer's ecosystem, and visual integration, including in Teams for like skills management and talent experience in the flow of work. So that's it. And when you integrate new skills and skills intelligence and skills technology and smart suggestions into your existing systems, that the message for the employees is really interesting as well. We are just enriching what we have, and the experience in the end will be beneficial for everyone.
I love that. I think the key thing you mentioned there is make sure it's embedded in the flow of work, or the flow of work, right? Rather than trying to pull them somewhere else, which is where you have
exactly.
If it's already in the flow of work with the work I'm doing, then you're going to have much more success, of course.
Exactly.
To be able to do that.
And all the collaborative tools, the workplace, digital workplace environments, like provided by Microsoft and their peers. I think that's the COVID and the pandemic's effect as well, but they're really in 100% of the companies and large enterprises are leveraging a lot these new capabilities. So you need to be able to provide services into these systems.
No, yeah. I agree. Listen, before I let you go, we covered so much, first and foremost. So incredible. Honestly, since we first met, it's been amazing to see the journey that you and the business have been on. So firstly, congrats on everything. It wasn't easy in the last couple of years.
Likewise.
No, I appreciate it. Before I let you go, where can people connect with you? If they want to reach out to you personally, where's the best place? And if they want to learn more about 365 Talents, where should they be going?
365talents.com. That's the single point of truth on what we do. If someone wants to contact me directly on LinkedIn or on my email, feel free to do so, loic.michele@365talents.com. And we have a really dynamic LinkedIn profile for 365 Talents, sharing lots of product announcement, innovation announcements as well. So follow us on LinkedIn for sure.
Well, as always, everyone listening, those links are all below. So wherever you're listening or watching right now, the links to the website, to connect with Loic. I also put links to the resources that were mentioned throughout the episode, so make sure you click there. Apart from that, I appreciate you coming on and look forward to seeing where the journey takes us. In the future, all the best.
Thank you.